Hi folks, welcome to the Cobb TV Studios with our first visit in these studios with Cobb Commission Chairwoman Lisa Cupid. And during COVID, Chairwoman, we had a chance to do a little work down here. We're glad to have you down to see it and talk with us.
Sounds good, and it looks good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You and I both came from an event that showed the last day of vaccination effort at the Jim R. Miller Park vaccination site for Cobb and Douglas Public Health. And there were a lot of emotions in the room as the healthcare workers kind of wrapped up that work. Just describe what you saw.
Yeah, what a beautiful sight. I mean, I anticipated a nice event, but I didn't anticipate seeing so many people there. I mean, for us to be able to test our population and vaccinate them, it took a number of partners across the county within Cobb and Douglas Public Health, within our public safety department, within our staff here, and even our elected officials. And you can't forget about the National Guard that also helped us out there as well. It was a beautiful event, and what was most touching to me was to hear Dr. Memark talk about how much this impacted her, to see how everyone came together under imperfect circumstances to make our community as healthy and safe as possible during a time where we were all learning more about what COVID-19 was and how to get people tested and how to get people vaccinated. As Senator Kirkpatrick said today, they were literally building a plane while flying it, and it's nice to see how it landed today.
And that's a good way to put it. One of the things we talked about too is that this was such a unique event and an unprecedented one at that it forced these various governmental entities to kind of knock down their silos they're normally in and start talking to each other.
Certainly. And I think, that's really how a lot of tough issues have to get addressed, is through partnership. Not one of us can do it alone. And, that was certainly seen with how the pandemic was tackled. It took many of us coming across the county to see how can we best be responsive. And again, it was great to see all the many partners that were there today and that took pride in all of our efforts to come together and address the pandemic.
And I know our Parks Department, after 16 long months, is happy to have that facility back in their control.
I know that's right. Everybody sacrificed a lot, and including them. And I think now that things are opening up, it provides a great opportunity to also stress the importance of the work that public health did. And it's because people were getting tested and now getting vaccinated that we can open up that facility for people to come together and recreate and look forward to the many events to come. But we still need to make sure that people are getting out and getting vaccinated so that we don't go backwards.
Right, and the vaccination effort has not ended. They're going to be doing outreach efforts, and the core group is all around the county doing vaccination efforts. And you can go to our website or cobbanddouglaspublichealth.org to track those locations down and still get your vaccine.
Yes, please do. Cobb County staff has done an excellent job of getting the word out, and we have almost 40% of our population that's been fully vaccinated. But this is still far shy of the goal of 70% that our president has set for our nation. And so we still have our work cut out for us. And so again, I can't underscore how important it is for people to get out there and get vaccinated.
You mentioned tough issues a minute ago, and it seems like we have one of those every week nowadays for whatever reason.
Right.
And the zoning was last Tuesday, and one of those tough issues was Sprayberry Crossing. It's up kind of near where I live. It's been a thorn in the side of the community for decades now.
Certainly.
It's been a blighted shopping center. Finally, a development was approved for that space. And how difficult was it getting to that point?
Yes, and with every zoning, I think all of the commissioners inherit just a few more gray hairs. Unfortunately, when you're weighing the property interests of the applicant and of citizens, these are never easy decisions. But Commissioner Burrow did an excellent job laying out the case for redevelopment and certainly underscoring the challenges with that property from a crime perspective and addressing traffic, addressing other concerns there. I think that she, made a compelling argument for why redevelopment was warranted.
Yeah. And once again, for the people in that community, we saw a lot of people come out in opposition, but
Yeah.
Commissioner Burrell, and I don't know what you've heard, it said it was really a 50-50 prospect when it came to reading her emails.
Yeah, and those certainly I think that feel like they have more to lose are those that are sometimes in opposition to a matter. And so I think it was good for her to weigh the feedback that she received on all sides. But again, at the end of the day, irrespective of that split, she was able to look at the facts and say that this would be good for moving that area forward.
Mm-hmm. We are taping this on the eve of Juneteenth right now, and I was just talking to you. You have a full calendar on that particular day.
Yeah.
You're trying to hit a lot of different events. Obviously, this is a date, a day, and a celebration that's taken on more significance really in society as a whole.
Yes, certainly. I mean, the Cobb NAACP has been celebrating this event in our community for years, and this year we've seen this event expand to now be celebrated amongst many of our cities here in the county. And I think it goes to show the importance of addressing diversity, equity, and inclusion of all of our communities. And as much as I'm going to have a busy day tomorrow, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing this positive change that we're feeling in Cobb about more people feeling like they're being heard. And I certainly think the measure that the president has taken has allowed a lot of voices to be heard across our nation, and that their plight towards freedom and their plight of freedom in this country matters as significantly as the broader context of freedom that we typically celebrate, in July 4th, and that we certainly recognize in Memorial Day.
Yep, and I hope we get the good events in before the rain hits.
Yes, we always pray for good weather, and I could say we've had some good weather days on some very special occasions that we've had recently in the county, with a couple of ribbon cuttings, with the the Schwitzer Library, opening just yesterday, and also in recognizing the Second Chance desk that's going to be opening in collaboration with the Georgia Justice Project and the DA's office.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned during that ribbon cutting at Schwitzer that that's kind of not just a library. We call it a library, but it's really a community gathering place.
Certainly, and how important are these places to us now more than they've ever been, considering that we've been all hunkered down during the pandemic, just waiting to get out. And now that we can come together, we have a place where we can gather at Schwitzer Library.
Yep. And then we went from that to another ribbon cutting for the Second Chance desk. There's a whole bunch of players in that from a legal perspective, from the DA's office to the solicitor.
Yes, can't forget.
And the Georgia Justice Foundation, which is helping put it all together. And the idea of it, and I don't think people realize, is that it gives people a second chance by restricting their records on maybe a charge that was never adjudicated or a misdemeanor. And what do you think that'll do to the Cobb County and really society as a general as these programs become more in the forefront?
Yeah, again, we spoke about Juneteenth and recognizing that diversity, but we have people in all spectrums and walks of life within our county who are trying to do the best that they can to provide for themselves and their families. And, initiatives like that help to consider that, really in life, so many of us have been given second and third chances, and this provides those people who do need records expunged or desire their records to be expunged to have an opportunity to move forward. This is not saying that, this is not lessening our serious consideration of crime and trying to deter that in our county, but it's recognizing that once people have done their time, we really are helping our community by giving them the opportunity to move forward. And I appreciate the DA's initiative, along with the solicitor and the Georgia Justice Project, and the many judges that will be helping with that initiative as well.
Yeah, I think the judges are excited about it as well, because I talked to Judge Kell. It's like a chance for them to do something good. Typically, judges are seen as throwing people in prison or jail.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity, they say, for the judicial system to do good.
Yes, and it gets back to what we've talked about at the beginning of our conversation about many people coming together. And it's great to be able to see our judges come together with those that have been on the other side of them and in very daunting circumstances to have the opportunity to move forward. So I think with collaborations like this, we'll have the opportunity to move the needle, not just here, but on many other areas within the county that that could be addressed to just help move the county forward.
One thing I want to ask you before we wrap up episode 1 of what I hope is a long-running series here in Cobb County with you is, I heard you talk to the Marietta Kiwanis the other day, and it was interesting. You went from, I believe, 8 years as a district commissioner to now being the chairwoman of county and of the county commission, and how that's changed your outlook when you come to this building and when you deal with everyday matters. It's almost like people don't realize a commissioner is a part-time position, the chairwoman's a full-time position, and not only do you go from a district now, you go to a county as a whole. And what's it been like trying to deal with that?
You know, analogy I've used often is that as a commissioner, I felt like I played my part, but as a chair, you're a conductor. You're helping everyone be able to play their part for the good of the county. And where, I knew I was advocating for my constituents in the district where I serve, I'm advocating for everybody to be able to have a place in the county to help Cobb County succeed. And that means that individuals that are at the table need to be able to succeed for the county to succeed. And it's certainly a different perspective and enlightening. It's one that requires me to look at things differently and work with people differently. But it's been a growth opportunity and one that it's been an experience like no other, and I'm grateful to have this opportunity to bring people together.
Right. Yeah. You peel back the curtain a little bit about what she deals with. Weeks into the job, we have the situation with the Major League Baseball All-Star Game getting pulled out of the county, and you're thrust in those situations, which are completely new to you, and you find yourself just kind of making it work as you go.
You have to. The reality is, time is always moving forward, and you realize that even though you may have hard things that come up and sometimes disappointing things that come up, time is not going backwards, it's moving forward. So I've really had to learn how to frame my perspective to think about how do we always make the best of a moment or learn from a moment so that we can move forward from it. And that's what we did with Major League Baseball, and I hope it's what we continue to do whenever any tough issue comes before us at the county. Yeah.
Well, again, we appreciate you coming down here to visit our newly redesigned studio here at CobbTV. We hope you return soon. If you have any questions, obviously you can send them to us at the communications office. Things we've talked about in this video, like the Second Chance Desk, I'll put a link to information about that in the description to this video. And we invite you to go to cobbcounty.org/subscribe to sign up for all the newsletters. We put out a lot of newsletters. There's a lot of information in those. And if you really want to get the news about what's going on in Cobb County, that's a good place to start.
I agree.
All right, and we appreciate you again coming in. We'll see you again soon.
Appreciate you too, and thanks for tuning in.